G'day guys, my name's Troy and this is the Mad Magician Darryl. We are currently in the process of rebuilding this unique, iconic ute, PSYCO. For me personally, is that this vehicle was a bit of an idol piece for me growing up. I had the photos out of the Street Commodore magazine posters on my wall as a kid, and sort of in that era, the VSs and all this airbrushing and stuff like that. That's just what I frothed on. And unfortunately, is that as a tragic that I am, at the age of 43, I still love this era of car. I love the airbrushing, I love the stereos, etc. And this has been a big part of my life. So yeah.
And then I get dragged into it to fix it.
Yeah, so
this time of year, Bathurst is on. Troy's from WA, so he's over here for the Bathurst race again. So it's our yearly inspection to see where we're up to. Got a lot of the interior sort of done now. Majority of it's sort of built, so you can sort of see some progress each time. Yeah, we keep ticking away at it when I get a chance and keep working on it, do what we can do.
But the idea for the build is realistically, isn't it, Darryl, is to bring it back to the original show spec, what it was done. When I purchased the car is that it's not the way you see it now.
No.
It's definitely come a long way. The panel and paint was absolutely immaculate. Due to water damage, due to I think multiple owners, all the tray install was all removed. Nothing actually worked in the cab as such.
A lot of the modules and all the wiring that had been cut out means that nothing was ever going to work, regardless of who tried to restore it. You needed to source all the original parts and try and make it work again. So we've done all that. We had it up and running. Now it's just making it look basically the same as what it was, which not exactly the easiest thing when there's no digital photos available. It was way before the digital era when everyone had photos of everything. So it's been kind of hard to track down photos of what it looked like exactly. So we've improvised a lot to make it fit and look similar to what it was, but be more user-friendly and refined. So a lot of it originally was built for the auto salon days in a very, very quick period before the next show. So some spots are quite rough, but you can see that it was built to be looked at from a distance, not so much up close. But we're going for the up-close build, so it will take a lot longer than what it probably would have for Jamie to do it originally, but we'll make it show-worthy.
The one thing that we've got on our hands that Jamie never had on his hands was time. So, as you mentioned, it was always added on, and it was always like win one car show, then off to the next. But he was always trying to push the boundaries on what he could do to win that next show. You know, so
he had the bonus of a mate and his dad helping him though. It would be nice to have a couple of helpers, but
yeah. Well, look, Darryl, you know, mate, when it comes to I'd love to if I lived closer. But unfortunately, like mentioned, is that I'm from Western Australia. And
we're obviously in New South Wales, for anyone that playing at home that doesn't realise that. I'm in the middle of New South Wales in Orange, the cold climate.
Yeah, so the reason why the car is here in Orange is because of Darryl's ability. Darryl's been in the car industry for many, many years. He's done a very successful audio visual company up in Kalgoorlie.
Installation business.
Yeah, installation business, and that's why Darryl and I have been mates for many, many years. And our friendship grew through cars, especially this one in particular, make and model of a car. And then that's why Darryl's pretty much the only guy that I know that's got the capabilities, the patience, and the passion to get this car built back to the standard that it was.
And conveniently moving over here 10 years ago from WA, I've started doing panel beating, so I'm now a qualified panel beater, which means that I can smoothly the engine bay out and do all the body work, which is all the interior pieces that need the touch that most car audio shops sort of probably don't really get to. And then just having the experience with wiring and stuff to be able to hide all the stuff in the engine bay at the same time.
Yeah.
So all aspects that I'm sort of had a lot of history with to be able to work it out to put it together.
Just trying to think, Darryl, I'm trying to think when I actually purchased this vehicle and how long we've actually had in possession for, as well as how long it's been over here for.
I think you had it for a year, and then it got here at July last year.
Yeah.
So it's been here for 15 months.
Yeah. I must admit, I remember the story when, I still remember the day when this car originally went up for auction, I think it was, Burns & Co. from memory. I must admit is that I got multiple mates that always knew that I spoke about this car very, very highly over the years, and they're like, "Oh, Troy, are you gonna bid on it and win it at auction?" And to behold, I didn't actually bid on the car when it went to auction, and is that I sort of ummed and ahed and like, I've got enough cars as it is, and I thought, just another one to add to the collection, just for another dust collector, and then sort of went to the auction, and I thought it sold, but it must have not. It didn't sell, didn't hit reserve or whatever, and then it was funny. A close mate of mine actually sent me through. It was actually you, Darryl, wasn't it? You actually sent me through the Gumtree.
Where it was advertised, yeah.
Gumtree advertisement.
Got hold of the guy's phone number.
Yeah, got hold of the guy's phone number. The car was actually still in New South Wales. It was actually in New South Wales, actually.
Yeah.
And then I must admit is that I ummed and ahed again about it, and I thought, well, let's see what the real price is. Then reached out, made the deal, and then it's funny, another mate,
Perfect timing, given that the auto selling scene was kicking off again.
Yeah, was. Yeah.
Now it should be well sought after, hopefully.
Yeah, and it was through all the COVID period where pretty much nobody was doing anything, so it was just I thought, well, I'll purchase it. Yeah, get it back to WA, and then sort of see what condition it was. And when it arrived, it was probably a lot different to what I expected.
A lot different to what the photo showed,
a lot
that's for
different to
sure.
the photos and stuff like that. But look, is that it's great now. It's running,
Yep.
But yeah, there's more stuff that the list keeps on getting bigger. As in when we find things, when Darryl finds things, he's like, "Oh, Troy, look, we got to fix this or do this." And it's like, man, let's just do it once. We'll do it properly.
It'll be a whole nother level above what it was before.
Yep.
But it'll look essentially the same. So there'll be very few people that would be able to pick the differences unless they're showing. But the majority of people will just think it's the same as what it was. Keeping everything looking basically identical, but just refined. So it'll be the same ute. We're not changing anything dramatically other than the airbags, which is purely for a simplicity point of view to put it in and out of trailers safely with the front bar on it.
Yep.
And to be able to lay it out at shows, because who doesn't love a lowered car at a show?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And for driving, because really to drive it, we're going to drive it.
Oh yeah, look.
You want to be able to have it at a reasonable, respectable height, to be able to drive it without wrecking anything.
Because realistically, the plan is that probably for 12 months, take it on the show circuit again, do Motor X, do Summer Nats, whatever else.
Yep.
And then realistically, is that all I want to do is that
Cars and coffee.
Cars and coffee, yeah, once in a blue moon, but it won't do a lot of work.
No.
It was never. It'll sit in the collection, and just something that it'll be a talking piece and something that I've like I said, it was one of those cars as a kid.
It still won't be the most comfortable thing to drive.
Oh no.
But it'll be drivable, but it's not something you want to take on long drives anyway.
Yeah, I still remember when I first picked it up. Another mate of mine organised transport from over east to Perth, and then it rocked up at actually his dealership, and then he ran around to all his staff and said, "Who's bought this car? Who's bought this car?" Because he actually knew the car. And then, long story short, is that he rang me up and he goes, "You didn't buy that, did you?" I said, "Yeah, man." And he goes, "Mate," I still remember this thing from, like, he's a similar age to myself. I still remember this car. For all them, they used to follow it as well. Yeah. And he's like, "Man, it's still got the Nintendo 64 in it, and that was a big talking piece as a Nintendo 64. And so
everyone remembers on it, eh?
Yeah, and I still remember the first time we sort of started up and etc. And I actually took it for a drive around the block, and because it didn't have any sound deadening, it didn't have all that sort of stuff. It all been ripped out. This thing was so loud in the cab, and you could just smell the fumes. She was a beast. But yeah, and now at least now it's running properly. Because when I first purchased it, it wasn't running correctly. But took it to a performance shop in Perth. They spent some time, effort on it, got it all running back. But
Had to put the blower back on. Some genius at some stage had taken the blower kit off it.
Yeah.
Luckily kept it with it, so that's good.
So that all got put back on, intercooler, etc. Then I got done. I put it on dyno. Dyno runned it.
Huge power.
Yeah, huge power, huge power. So yeah, and then pretty much is that then it sat in the shed for multiple months, and then pretty much I just
realised that you weren't going to be doing it over there.
I was never had the time, didn't have the resources to do it, so that's why the mad magician, as I call him, is that put his hand up and said, "I'll build it for you," and that's where we are today. So,
which was July last year, and for me, growing up, getting in the car scene, following this through magazines, which we've got all of them here, knowing it intimately, knowing every detail, everything that was done each before a show, you'd sort of see it come through the magazines and know all about it. But yet, I'd never actually seen it in person. So the first time I physically saw the ute in person was when it turned up at my shed, some 23 odd years later from when it was built, which is kind of incredible, knowing it disappeared for 10 years, or at least the period while Jamie had it stored in his shed, and then it popped up on the for sale ads and stuff. But
so last time I remember it was when it was for sale in that caravan and boat place, or whatever it was. And I remember those photos, and that's the last time I ever saw it. But then
so he's the guy that got it off Jamie because he swapped it for a caravan.
Yeah. But I to be perfectly honest, is I didn't even as you guys can see, it's all been airbrushed.
In 2010.
In 2010.
Going by the bonnet art anyway.
Yeah. Because why was it airbrushed again, Darryl?
Wayne redid it for his calendar. That's what I've been told, that Wayne took it upon himself and re-airbrushed it all, and then basically did his calendar shoot and then gave it back to Jamie, and it sat there for a while again until he traded it for the caravan.
Because I must admit is that there's some of the stuff on the new airbrushing, mate, I throw off on. I reckon it's great, and there was always a couple of little pictures, would have been cool to have a bit of both, original and thing. But the only thing probably not a fan of is that when I purchased the vehicle, it had a set of HDT rims on it. So I took them off, and then I had a set of Simmons just lying around in the shed. So I put them on, but realistically, the big hunt is to
find some authentic rims.
Yeah, the authentic rims, the same as what it was on the show scene. If I could, is that I'd love to put a set of Momo Status on it. That's
Momo Status, all the AMEs.
Yeah, all the AMEs. That's
the Momo Status is going to be pretty much impossible to find unless you buy a whole car.
Yeah. So
they'll pop up.
They'll pop up eventually, and then
we're in no hurry.
Yeah.
Wheels are the last thing to go on.
Yeah, and the only other thing is that realistically, what we like to do, what I'd like to do with the engine is put a set of twin throttles on it.
They should be cheap to find.
Yeah.
Well, they remake them now. They can't be that bad. They're only
Who knows,
10 grand or something.
We might already have a set sitting around somewhere, So that's pretty much the only other thing. But we're looking forward to it finished. Just enjoying the journey as well, as in, watching all the progress.
Yeah.
Just doing things differently. Like the flooring, that's a huge difference compared to when it was originally done, because originally done was all in sheet metal, very, very heavy, whereas now Darryl's pretty much done in aluminium and fiberglass. And just the way that it just so neat.
Fitment's a lot better.
It's unbelievable. It's just, it's just great.
But once again, they'll be painted to look exactly the same, so no one's going to know the difference.
No.
We've got the original ones there, so we just copy and paint them the same.
Yes.
That's the whole point, is keep it the same as what it was, but improve it.
Yeah, that's right. So, but no, it's come along, slowly but surely. And I'm actually enjoying as well, like all these people, our age, that know the vehicle so well and stuff, and actually they're getting involved as well. They're helping us with sending photos in to the, the Instagram page, all sort of stuff like that, and people watching the videos, and it's been great, as in how many people actually love this vehicle.
Coming back.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's great that we're bringing it back to life. That it gets to see this.
Yep.
Yeah. So, because no doubt there'd be people out there, like I said, that love it. They'll be able to tell their kids about it, and they're what they thought about the ute and stuff, and what they remember.
Interesting to see once it gets back on the scene is how many photos start popping up of everyone. I remember this thing, and now I've seen it. Look at it now.
But the biggest thing we've got to remember is that back when 2000s, 2001, like technology when it comes to cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
they're all still photos. Everyone's got photos, but they're still photos. They're not digital.
Nah.
So unless they scan them.
Nah, because like this day and age, man, as in phones, the cameras on the phones are unbelievable.
Yep.
So, but no, look, I thank everything you're doing. Darryl, and yeah, look, yeah, it's,
We'll keep going on
yeah,
that.
slowly but surely.
We've got a couple of people that asked some questions about mainly when's the next video coming, which has been kind of hard to do a lot of filming, especially over winter here in Orange. I don't have a shed big enough really to be able to do it every night on what I want to do. During the most of the year it's all right to work on, but at the moment it's a bit hard and trying to get a decent shed set up so we can do a lot more work and a lot quicker. But I do have a full-time job, panel beating, so this is purely an after hours and weekend job, which you know, I sort of do it when I can. Be nice to be able to spend more hours on it, but just realistically I've still got a life to live as well, so it makes it hard. But thankfully Troy's not put pressure on to have it done by a certain date. We just want to make sure it's done right primarily.
Well, the dream was to release it at Summernats last year. That was the dream, because
Yeah.
it was, what, 20 years or whatever.
We've taken on a lot more work since
Yeah.
then to do it right.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, it wasn't just a quick chuck it all back together and send it out the door. It was start from scratch on a lot of things and refine it and make it to a judging perspective now, from being up close judging, not just auto salon judging where they judge from 20 feet or behind a barrier. So it's for me to be working on cars, building cars at work at a high level, to incorporate that into this as a build that can be judged properly and, you know, not lose points in certain aspects is the one for me.
Yeah.
I can't do things half-assed. I don't want to send it out knowing it's not how I would want it if it was my own vehicle. So
Yeah.
there will be a lot more time involved in making it perfection, so to speak,
Yeah.
to give it the long life that it deserves as being an icon.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it, everyone's going to remember it, and it'd be good to see it back out there.
Oh, 100%. That'd be great. So, no, looking forward to it. Yeah. And I just, like I said, I thank everybody for everything they're doing for us as well, you know, when it comes to sending.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are helping with it.
Yeah, it's great. So, yeah, and Darryl's been in contact with Wayne that's done all the airbrushing on it originally.
He's
and,
keen to get back into doing the
yeah.
touch-ups for us and do the floors the same, and he's already done the eyeball subs in the back, so they look original. They're not obviously different, completely different subs, but we're trying to make it so that it's usable, so that you can actually still fit in there.
Yeah.
Because Troy's way too tall, so.
Because I'm 6'3", yeah. I must admit, I couldn't. It was very, very hard to drive it. Like when I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I drove around the block. I haven't done, you know, and that was pretty much all it was when I had it back home. But yeah, I struggled to drive it. Yeah. And then because of the floor as well, you couldn't put the clutch wouldn't go all the way in because it was touching, and yeah, just.
It'll be a lot more drivable.
A lot more drivable, but will it get driven? No.
I'll probably drive it more than you do.
Yeah. Because it definitely won't be in over in Western Australia for another couple of years. So that's cool.
It won't be something you take on a long drive, that's for sure.
No, that's it, mate. No, it'd be cool to take it down, to the shops and get bread and milk.
Just take it on the freeway and watch people with their phones out the window. Everywhere you go now, there'll be people with phones taking photos. They'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
Take the kids for a lap.
So yeah. Oh, I think
all right, we're off to back to Bathurst.
Yeah, back to Bathurst and
go and enjoy the race tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. What are we up to? Friday.
Yeah.
So Sunday, a couple of days.
Yeah,
go and enjoy some qualifying and stuff, and then get back next week and get back into it.
Yeah, and hopefully the weather.
Keep going.
Hopefully the weather holds out.
Yep.
Not like last year. It rained. It was
The whole
terrible. Yeah. So yeah, it's still cold over here, but compared to Western Australia,
It's nice for Orange.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It's not snowing, so that means it's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Righto, guys. Thanks very much. Appreciate the support. Cheers.
Thank you.